First thing I'm going to do is think about like visually how I want my screen to look. So one, I would want to get rid of or make the images as big as possible so that I'm just recording this. I would turn chat all the way off so that you don't need to see that. If I had multiple people in here, so if Mr. Morlock were here, right by Miss Keel's name, I can focus it so that she's kind of like the star of my screen because she's the star of this interview. To kind of set the stage for you guys, we're imagining that I'm making a documentary about gig economy. And gig economy is like Uber or Airbnb or Etsy. It's where you have a platform or a provider that connects a vendor and then like a customer or consumer. And you're kind of your own boss and you're like underneath this umbrella company, which really just serves to facilitate the connection more than like direct employment. And that was recently on the ballot in California, and it's been talked about in other places. So there's certainly some like legislation going on with that. I know that Ms. Keel in my research, and my research in this case is I've worked with her for over a decade. I know that she has an Etsy shop. I know that she participates in that marketplace. And so talking about gig economy, knowing that's kind of under that umbrella, she would be a good person for me to talk to with direct experience there. So we're going to go over, be polite, do some of the reminders just so you can see it. Then I'm going to interview her twice for the end here of second hour. I'm going to do one interview and then start a third hour. I'm going to follow up and do another interview before I head out. If you don't have anything, just mute yourself. So excellent. All right, Ms. Keel, are you ready? All right.
Yes, I am.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Keel. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me today. I really appreciate it. How are you doing?
Absolutely. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing pretty well. Got my wreath, feeling the season. Not too much snow on the ground, which is nice. Just feeling good right now. Yeah, knock on wood that continues for all of us. Just to kind of go over a couple of things I said in my email. We're working on this documentary competition. So is it okay that we're recording this?
Yes.
All right, and just to make sure I have all my spellings right, when we do our graphic work, could you spell your name for me?
Yeah, Erin, E-R-I-N, Keel, K-E-E-L.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, so our documentary or what we're doing research on is like the gig economy, so things like Etsy and Uber and Lyft and Airbnb and different sort of like services, kind of like that. So just have a couple questions for you, and like I said, we really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. So starting off, can you kind of like tell me what Etsy is?
Yeah. So Etsy is an e-commerce platform that connects it connects the creators with the customer base without us having to like create our own website and drive our own traffic.
Cool. Thanks. And do you have an Etsy shop?
I do.
Awesome. And do you like, Etsy does a lot of crafts. So like, do you like making crafts and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed it. It's a good relaxing thing for me.
Nice. And where do you get the supplies for that?
Yeah, so I actually use Amazon a lot because their shipping is awesome. And then other craft stores, and then I have a couple suppliers for some of my main stuff. One's out of Florida called Zindy, and then the other one is out of New Orleans called Mr. Nola's Glitter.
Cool. My sons have a friend whose last name is Nola, so that's just a cool coincidence. Do you make money from your Etsy stuff?
Yeah.
And how many hours a week do you say you spend on that Etsy shop?
Probably 10 to 15.
Cool. All right, that's kind of all I have. So thanks so much for meeting with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a good one. All right, bye.
Thanks, you too.
All right, so think about that interview. what was how would you, so go ahead and put in chat, how would you feel if you had to use her answers to that in your documentary? How would you put that in? So once you put in that response, how would you use what she said? Would you be excited? Would you be nervous? Give me some feedback in chat on that interview, and then take a break and come back at 9:18. And at 9:18, we'll do our second interview. How are you going to get, thank you for hitting record there, Ms. Kill. How are you going to get a more elaborate response? And so that's part of the planning. That's why Ms. Keel says that that's so important, because we've only done 1 or 2 interviews. Like, I'm not a professional interviewer. So I'm not going to be able to like answer these things on the fly. Whereas like I am a professional physics teacher, so I have to plan less for physics teaching than I would for an interview. So I want to be over prepared. If you know Celeste Hall, she did a really nice job last year of like interview prep stuff. She had some really good materials. In terms of what people tell you, and if they say, "Man, I'm really nervous about being interviewed," just tell them to answer honestly and be themselves. That's the only thing you need from people.
And it's okay if they get a little emotional. Like, emotion is great. Emotion shows passion and shows interest. And so even if they get a little fired up, you hit a nerve, and that's okay. Capture that. Like, you can use that fired upness to help make your point. Your passion is great.
Yeah, and when you guys kind of say like those questions were informal, I would say that I didn't prepare very hard for that interview. That's why all of my questions in the notes were really short. And as a result, that might have made it seem a little bit less formal. Our advice, and this is the thing that like when you say, "Hey, I want to interview so-and-so, I've got a couple questions. Can you take a look at it?" Literally every year, over and over and over and over and over, I tell people, frame your question with research. Frame your question with research. Not everyone, but like half of them. And if you frame them with research, it's going to sound more formal. And hopefully this interview, you'll get to see a little bit what that's like. Oh, thanks, McKenna. This is awesome. So now I click on Mrs. Keel and I hit focus. And so McKenna and I could be a team, and we could be interviewing Mrs. Keel. And if we were recording this, she would still clearly be the focus of the interview. And you can kind of see over on our